Heroes of the Storm has a problem, and it concerns these guys, Overwatch Heroes. But what exactly is the issue, and why has Blizzard not done anything to address it? Well, stick around and you will find out. So what the hell am I talking about? Well, Overwatch characters like Tracer, Genji, and D.Va bring abilities and playstyles directly from their original game, Overwatch, which, as you know, is an FPS, not a MOBA. While this creates an exciting crossover, some of their abilities like Tracer's Recall or Genji's Deflect feel a little bit out of place and quite overpowered within the Heroes of the Storm meta. But this by itself isn't enough to consider them overpowered, so what else then? The other single biggest factor is mobility by far. Practically all Overwatch heroes have excellent mobility, with the exception of Ana, but Tracer, Genji and Lucio are notoriously strong for this, which allows them to evade attacks and reposition with ease. Other heroes in Heroes of the Storm struggle to keep up, making them feel sluggish in comparison. High burst damage. Characters like Hanzo and Junkrat can unleash powerful burst damage from a very safe distance, making it hard for non-mobile heroes to engage them without taking major risks. And considering their mobility, let's say you did manage to reposition to engage them, both heroes have excellent escape abilities, Junkrat's concussive mine and Hanzo's natural ability trait. Self-sustain. Abilities like Tracer's Recall or Zarya's self-shielding give these heroes ways to reset fights or even avoid damage entirely. And finally, strong crowd control and area denial. D.Va's self-destruct, Junkrat's traps and Lucio's boop are all examples of abilities that control the battlefield in ways that standard Heroes of the Storm heroes can't counter easily. Lucio's boop in particular is a huge frustration for heroes with channeled abilities like ETC's Mosh Pit or Anduin's Holy Word Salvation, since it has a 7-second cooldown. With these strengths, Overwatch heroes often end up dominating the battlefield, and it's not in isolated cases. Their presence can skew the meta across all MMR levels. It's no wonder these heroes are ranking so highly in people's tier lists across the board. Okay, so general reasoning aside, let's break down a few specific heroes and why they're seen as problematic. Starting with Tracer, her reload trait makes her the only character in the game able to move and auto-attack simultaneously, which when coupled with her blink ability makes her a complete nuisance to deal with, outputting chip damage reliably in the backline without consequence. Burst her down to low health and she can simply recall back to full. That being said, a well-timed silence or polymorph can prevent her from recalling, and given that she has one of the smallest health pools in the game, makes her somewhat vulnerable. As for damage, her melee and pulse bomb can in tandem pump out significant burst damage, so don't think she is simply a nuisance. Hanzo. He has great movement but on a 25-second cooldown. You see, his trait allows him to jump over terrain, making a useful getaway clause or hyper-aggressive move. His offensive kit is very well rounded. Stormbow is one of the longest range abilities in the game, allowing him to pump out reliable poke damage from a very safe distance, assuming you can hit your skill shots. Meanwhile, Scat Arrow, a fan favourite from Overwatch, excels in tight spaces. Maps with lots of terrain are therefore preferred, also helping with the aforementioned trait. He also has significant vision control with Sonic Arrow, making him one of very few ranged assassins that get this by default. And finally, both ultimates, Dragon Strike and Dragon's Arrow, have uses in-game. Either pair Dragon Strike with strong CC like Zarya's Graviton Surge, or use Dragon's Arrow to punish ability-heavy characters. Overall, an incredibly versatile hero that shouldn't be slept on. D.Va. Her boosters make her one of the most mobile bruisers in the game, and it's only on a 10-second cooldown by default. It even knocks back and damages enemies. And strangely, one of very few bruisers to also have a supportive ability in Defense Matrix. Playing against ranged heavy comps allows this ability to excel. While Self-Destruct, the signature move of D.Va, is available from level 1. Sure, you need to charge it up with auto attacks, but this ability is one of the strongest area denials in the game, and it's not even an ultimate. Couple this with Bunny Hop, which adds yet more CC, or micro missiles for pure damage output, and D.Va is a force to be reckoned with. And finally, goddamn Genji. Similar to Hanzo, he has a pretty strong trait. In this case, Cyber Agility allows him to effectively become invulnerable as he jumps in the air, and this is only on a 20-second cooldown. Comboed with Deflect, he is able to not only avoid damage for a while, but reflect it at enemies. Deflect is incredibly strong against high attack speed heroes, and even stronger against people that don't know how it works. And what about movement? Well, Swift Strike then is one of the fastest movement abilities in the game, and only on a 12-second cooldown. Oh, and if you thought having 2 abilities to avoid damage temporarily was enough, have a third with X-Strike, which causes Genji to jump up for around 1.25 seconds before striking the ground in an X pattern. Or if you prefer raw damage and yet more movement, then Dragon Blade is your option. Now, I know this isn't new to a lot of you, and many of you will enjoy playing these heroes, I know I do, but it's fair to say that I get a little frustrated sometimes, feeling that there is a list of heroes that I know I should be picking to secure a win, rather than the ability to pick any hero I want without cost. But I'm interested to hear what you think. Do you think Overwatch heroes are overpowered? And if so, what would you suggest we do to even the playing field across other heroes? If you like this video, please consider leaving a like. It helps me know what sort of content you like. And if you want more, consider subscribing to the channel as I release similar content all the time. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next one.